I'm Superantonio. And we're live. Greetings, friends. Welcome back to Free Roam Fridays with Arthur, where we free roam with Arthur in Chapter 2. I did that wrong. Let me do that again. Welcome back to Free Roam Fridays, where we free roam with Arthur in Chapter 2. That sounds better. How are you? We made it to the weekend. As always, the end of your week is the start of my week. What's that about? We shall be streaming all weekend long with Free Roam Fridays and Saturday with The Last of Us Part 1 and Batman Arkham Knight on Sunday. Miko Herptile is here and says, hello, Super Antonio, Sadie Mods, and everyone. Greetings, Miko. Glad you're here. And just so you know, we're back on the PS4 because we are on the Liver Chestnut Hungarian Half-Breed, which you can only get with mods. What's that about? And we're going to do a bunch of missions tonight. Arthur meant to do that. I really thought the horse would move. Yeah, we're on the PS4. I don't really see any kind of discernible difference with the PS5. And at some point, we'll transfer all these files over to the PS5, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet because it's going to take forever, even with a LAN connection, an Ethernet connection. You know, a wire to wire. We're going to wire up both the PS4 and the PS5. We're not going to try to do it over the Wi-Fi network. It's a lot of data. I just think it would take longer. Mama One is here. Everybody say hi to Mama One. Greetings, Mama One. Sadie's here and she says hi. Papa One is also here. Papa One says hey family, and Mama One says hey everyone. Welcome friends. Happy Friday. Appreciate you being here. We're going to do a bunch of missions tonight to move this horse to Mary's letter so we can reproduce this horse with the Jamie exploit. Boy, that horse is red. Miko says hello, Mama One and Papa One.
In that case, I'm an idiot. But
and Papa One says, hey, Miko.
This is
Sadie is tired.
I ain't no such thing.
She's tired.
If he likes us.
Liking ain't the
Ready
problem.
for bed.
Trusting is, as I said.
Mama One says, hey, Miko. Hello, Miko.
This
How was your
is
week? I spent all week working on Batman Arkham Knight. I've gotten much better at combat. You'll be happy to know. You'll be proud to know. Even gotten better at driving, but really improved in combat. I made a video. And we unlock Catwoman. We can play as Catwoman.
I'm an old man.
She's a very impressive character. That's all I can say. And her fighting mechanics are accurate. She can't take as much damage, you know, because she only weighs like 110 pounds. But she's quick. She's faster. She's more gymnastic. She's more athletic. She moves faster than Bruce, and you know, she doesn't hit as hard, obviously, but she kicks more, and she has more stamina, so she can like kick, hit. Yeah, she's a lot of fun to play with. You'll be impressed. Papa One says, I absolutely love this horse and wish it would have been in game right off the bat. She is such a beauty. She certainly is. She's a perfect horse for Arthur. I do like Hungarian half-breds with Arthur Morgan. And regrettably, as I got better at Bruce, I got worse as Arthur, which you will see in some of the combat scenes here, because I can only keep one game control in my head at a time.
Really?
Super annoying, but that's just the way I'm built.
The place is just northwest of here.
Me?
The other one who's been out gallivanting around here.
Like in this game, and this is one of the reasons why in driving the Batmobile is a pain for me, Mama One. You have to push the L stick forward, to ride the horse, to make the horse go, and then you hit X to
This works.
to make him go faster.
That feller's a joke.
And in Batman Arkham Knight, it's R2 to go forward,
A safe spot
and
to fence wagons
the
and
L stick
coaches
just
may
moves you
be
left and
money
right.
for us.
And if you keep
I guess
and if you keep pushing forward on the L stick, it just messes up your turns and
If
everything.
the two of us can't steal a stagecoach,
So I had to so we have to move forward with the left thumb here, and you have to like completely not use the left thumb until you're turning with the Batmobile.
How you feeling about things
What's that
now?
about? Mom once says my week was good. Plenty of farm chores and horse training. Good, that's good to know. Yeah, we just kind of worked on
I figured more folks
Batman
would
Arkham
cut
Knight.
run on
We're
us.
about 25% done with the story, and I believe, just like The Last of Us, the fun in Batman Arkham Knight is not so much in the free roaming, but in redoing the challenges and the missions and just getting better and better at the game, and getting Bruce as strong as possible. But yeah, I didn't pay any attention to The Last of Us this week,
That must be the place up ahead. We should go on foot from
but
here.
I've got a lot of Hey, stay. Tell
Let's see
everyone to
what we're
like and
dealing with.
subscribe before you
Come on.
go, or just go. She's back under the desk.
There's the house. I see the barn in the back.
I saw the
Stagecoach has to be
cutest
in there.
crate, dog crate. It's like it's like the raptor cage from Jurassic Park. It's not designed, it's designed for like police dogs, and it's designed for cars. And I assume the raptor cage in Jurassic Park was designed after real life animal/zoo cages.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
I
pretty
reckon
cool.
We can do it now. I'll
Would
head
look
over,
great
distract
in the
him by
bedroom.
putting on
It's
a little
over
show while you
$1,000,
sneak into the house,
so
find
we're
what
not
you
getting
can,
that.
Then get the
But
stagecoach. Or wait until nightfall.
it was pretty funny.
Sneak in, then I'll get
Papa
the
once says a
coach.
couple of our thoroughbreds
try
are
the
now
house.
expecting,
What do you
so
think?
in the future we'll have some more foals, and they will have a
do it now.
pedigree.
Sure.
That's exciting news.
Right then.
New life.
Don't
New
follow
life
me.
on the ranch, on Ranch 1. We need... if you're playing this game for the first time, I recommend doing this mission by the day, or the or the title of this mission, The Spines of America, will make no sense to you. Also, there's a little bit of extra dialogue if you return to camp with Hosea, which we got. A very stable gold jointed bracelet location. One of the only stable gold jointed bracelet locations.
My good young man.
Miko says, congratulations, Papa One.
Is your father home, son?
Sure is.
Get him down here. Please, get him down here.
Get lost, mister.
I was lost. For many years.
I really like this black shirt combo with the gray. Like the light jacket and the dark shirt. But even though it just washes out on screen, but note we have the gray tie and the matching gray pocket square. I always like matching the pocket square to the tie if possible. It's more of a silver gray, but again, you can't really tell on screen, regrettably. A pearl necklace in a chest by the door. It makes no sense. Also, there are no women living in that house. I always get this apple for the horse. Papa One says, thanks, Miko. And a carrot. We do not have the Legend of the East Satchel, and we won't be getting one. We'll just have to improvise. Tonight, we're doing this mission, and we're getting Kieran off that tree. And we're playing poker with Reverend Swanson. And then we are getting Bolty. Also, we can move Arthur forward to Mary's letter. Gold jointed bracelet. I was obsessed with those. Year one of the game. now I don't even go to chapter 5, so there's really no need for it. You need it for the legendary gator trinket. And if you listen to Hosea's spiel, you get insight to his character and history as a con man. And the title of this mission is explained. Okay, let's run to the barn. And then we'll just hang out there and wait for Hosea. Always wondered what would happen if we just left without him. I'm sure we just tank the mission and it drops us back in there. And as long as we're here, we might as well have the ginseng elixir, because it's good for the health bonus. There are rumors of a PS5 reskin of this game. I believe those rumors are exactly that, just rumors. I don't believe they would release something because it would take away from the attention of Grand Theft Auto 6. And I don't believe that they would allocate any resources to this game because they are focused on GTA 6. But it's fun to think about, and it would absolutely save the channel, especially now that we have a PS5. Not that I think this channel is dying. It's stagnated a little, but we're playing Batman Arkham Knight, playing a bunch of new games. We'll get new eyeballs on the channel.
Are we heading in the right direction?
Well, we're playing a bunch of new old games. And we're not moving on from this game, we're just expanding the scope. Because, regrettably, as much as I hate to admit it, I do think we've taken this game as far as it can go.
Nicely done. We got everything we needed.
There's very little that I haven't
Best way,
covered
best
in
profits
previous
for the
videos
now. Just need to get
2 or
back to
3
Shane's
times
one
before.
base and it's a good day's work.
And
So what were you able
we have to
lift
do
from
something
the
new.
house?
But we will always have free roam Fridays. I'm never going to stop doing that. And if something funny happens, we'll make a short out of it.
This was easier than hunting a 1,000-pound grizzly anyway.
Mama One says, have you ever played GTA 4? I have not. Mama One. Do you recommend it? I think Serena played GTA 4, didn't she?
Mr. Matthews had stared death in the eye. And as usual, he did
Am I going to play GTA 6? I don't know. I gotta... I guess we'll see. I'll watch other playthroughs. I don't want to hate play it.
till we
I don't want to play it and complain about it, you know?
We're starting to get back on our feet, slowly but surely.
And I don't want to invest $100, a C note,
Money chest stashed
and the
together
time
so
it takes
far
to
away
get
from
good
camp
at the
that it's a
game
long way from being
if I'm not going to enjoy it. And I suspect that I will not enjoy it.
Even if we had to dump the money from the ferry, we could have at least
Which
got
is,
the
you know,
rest
I don't
out
like
there
having a
before
bad
we
attitude.
someplace
I don't like being pessimistic about things.
Okay, here we
But
are. Just pull
I
the
think at
coach
this
into
point
the
I'd rather
barn
play
there.
Cyberpunk 2077, which is
Hello,
first person.
Seamus.
And you know I
met your
hate
cousins?
first person.
Fine, nice people.
Mama One says GTA 4 is a great story. It's got several DLCs as well. Yes, Batman Arkham Knight has several DLCs and skins as well, and those DLCs are only $5. And you can play as Batgirl. You can play as I think you can play as Harley, Catwoman, Robin. You get the Batman 66 reskin, so we can play as Adam West. But a very powerful Adam West. But we could play in the Batmobile 66 Batmobile, and that would be kind of funny. Cloudy's here. Cloudy says, howdy, y'all. Greetings, Cloudy. So yeah, I'm going to get the DLC. Next month, which is next week, we get a second monitor, a 4K UHD monitor, which will, and then we start the tedious process of transferring all these files over to the PS5. And we'll get the Batman DLC. Then maybe the month after that, what are we going into July? We'll think about getting Stellar Blade. Papa One says, do you get Boadiea from a stable? Papa One, no. We have to use, you have to dig into the game files, dig into the code, and copy and paste her onto an existing horse. You use a program like Save Wizard. There are programs that that can read the game files, the game codes on the PS4. You need a PC to do it, and then you take the so you update the game your personal game files with the Boadiea codes, and then you reload those files over your existing PS4 game files, and you get Boadiea. Cloudy says, play is my favorite, the emo Batman. Is that the Robert Pattinson Batman? I don't know the suits well enough to be able to distinguish between them. I mean, I know like the Batman 66 suit and then like Tim Burton suit, that would be like Batman, what, 89? Because those are obvious. But there's just, you know, all those little details now. He's got a really cool armored suit now, tri-weave titanium fiber. Which I assume is like John Wick's suits, you know. It's like it you know, it's bulletproof, but it doesn't really absorb the damage, so it still hurts. Papa One says, does her stats show? Does she bond? Yes, and yes, Papa One. She acts just like a regular horse. Of course.
Speak. Don't cry.
Cloudy, you've played Arkham Knight. We just finished Ace Chemicals, and we did quite well. And also, we unlocked Catwoman, because we're like in, I don't know, we're like at part 5 of Riddler's Revenge. We just did the Crushinator. I love Catwoman.
I was thinking Mr. Williamson could have a word.
2015 was a wonderful year for video game designs. That's all I'll say about it right now until we get to Catwoman. Cloudy says the Robert Pattinson Batman skin is free. Yeah, I'll get it. I'm going to get all of them. I'm going to get, it's called like the Arkham Knight Season Pass. It's only $5.
Screw it. Let's just have some fun.
Bill is very excited about pulling down Kieran's pants. What's that about?
Just gonna cause you trouble. You know, in Imperial Rome, eunuchs was among the happiest and most loyal of courtiers.
First playthrough, I've said this before, but first playthrough, I wondered how far they were going to go with this. I honestly had no idea, and I was a little scared. Look at the heat waves coming off those gelding tongs.
You're right. He don't like you any more than you like him. He's at 6 Point Cabin. I'll take you there. Serious. I don't like him. I mean, I like him even less than I like you. No offense.
Oh, none taken. Okay then, partner. Why don't you take a few of us up there right now? I got this, Dutch. Should be fun.
I got this, Dutch.
All right, you come on. Let's go.
Arthur takes over this mission.
Let's both hope you ain't trying to trick us, O'Driscoll.
Cloudy says, I played all the Arkham games. The only one I haven't completed was Origins.
John, Bill, come here. We got a social call.
I'm having a lot of fun with Arkham Knight.
Up into the hills behind Valentine. Well, I'll show you.
John, you take this little rattlesnake with you. Any nonsense, kill him. Sure. You gotta pay your buddies
I mean, I
on
like
respect.
Joel and Ellie, but I figured out that game, and you know,
That's what he said.
there's a little bit of frustration when you start a new complex game at how hard it is. But once you start figuring it out, once you start learning it, it becomes fun. I mean, the process of learning, I mean, and getting better becomes fun.
Sharing saddle with an old Driscoll. Who'd have thought?
Very enjoyable.
How many times I gotta
Mama
say
one
it?
says, I like the
Ain't
missions
no
a lot
Driscoll.
as it shows. I like this mission a lot as it shows John's decline in belief in Dutch. He starts questioning after Blackwater, but here he still defends Dutch, saying Dutch is more of a teacher than an outlaw. Yeah, especially Mom One, considering John probably left school in the 6th grade, maybe the 4th grade. I was thinking about that, but John does know how to read. But I assume that Hosea taught him.
Next time you wanna give me something,
Mama One says, yet slowly as the game progresses, he starts realizing Dutch is losing it. He starts realizing it before Arthur. I think Arthur starts to question because of
If
John.
I got my bearings, it's over here. Yeah.
But yeah,
I know this
John's
country.
turning point is when Jack is kidnapped.
Morgan.
And really, Arthur's turning point really isn't into Cornwall kerosene and tar.
That's because
When he gets left
wasn't
behind.
asked to ride with us. You was told.
I smell like a stall ain't been cleaned out in a month.
Got my coffee
I smell
tonight.
like that because you had me tied up there about as long.
You'd be smelling worse if we'd done what someone was arguing for.
Granted.
Instead of the green
I
tea.
was in with a bad lot. I'm trying to make amends. If I can.
You don't know the half.
I do know Colm killed Dutch's sweetheart.
And that's the man you chose to ride with. A woman killer.
Well, it was after he killed his brother. And the way I understood it,
Making excuses for the man and his crimes.
Mama One says it's mentioned in Red Dead 1 that John canceled his first man at only 11 years old, so he likely had no education besides Dutch and Hosea. Yeah, it's implied that Ellie's had education, that there's still some sort of rudimentary school system in that world, because she uses like turns of phrases like the jury's still out that you wouldn't expect her to know. And she knows about airplanes. There's a nice
you know, you
there's a
all
nice
ain't that
conversation
different
about
from the
airplanes
O'Driscolls.
that she dreams that she was on an
you just
airplane.
say?
Because someone would have to have told her about that.
You've been tied to a tree. You don't know
The
nothing
world
about
as it
this
was
game.
before.
Yeah, well,
For her to,
I'd
you know,
say
it's
you
like-
don't know much about the
Or maybe
O'Driscolls.
she's just, you know, she's a
Maybe I
reader.
know more about
And
you
she
than you
keeps
know
reading
about
random
them.
things.
And I know all about them, so
Tell us then.
Cloudy says, Super Antonio, do you know how to spawn bears consistently?
you're out
I'm
to
trying to get
survive
the
like
survive 18 bear attacks
live
achievement.
rough.
Yes, I do.
fighting the law.
Hold on, I'll get back to you. Papa One says, Last of Us game is fun. I wish the TV show would have been as good as the game. I had high hopes for that.
We're out to live.
But when I first seen The Chosen Ellie, I immediately told Mama One who picked her is so wrong.
That's just more like a teacher.
From where I've been, you just look the same as all.
Then you look,
Well,
but
that's,
you
you know,
ain't seen.
That's women casting directors.
That boy up.
Papa One.
Okay,
I
now,
apologize,
left
Mama
up
One.
here,
But
we go down
women
the hill into the forest.
will pick
We're going in
women they
quiet,
are not threatened by,
taking 'em out as we
and
fight,
men they are not
trying
threatened
not
by.
to set things off.
So you get
But if we do,
actors like Timothy Chalamet,
and hard.
you know, super skinny,
Settle
pretty
this like we
boys,
know how, okay?
and
Okay, by
you
me.
get plain women
Morgan. All right then.
because they're taking advantage, or they're taking revenge on high school and not being part of the popular table and the mean girls who are pretty in high school who are mean to them.
Hey, we're
I
real
know that's an
close.
oversimplification, but it's
Give your horses
know.
the other side of this clearing.
that's my explanation, and I apologize.
Off my horse.
What was I going to say? Cloudy. Okay, there is a burnt down ranch with a chimney
Easy, Bill.
that is
Quiet.
northeast of Wallace Station. There's a bear there, a grizzly there. You have the grizzly at Dutch's Pipe Cabin.
This is it. The cabin's just the other side of this hill.
Southwest of Moonstone Pond,
You gonna get
overlooking on a cliff overlooking the Dakota River. There's also a very consistent grizzly bear spawn.
Follow me.
Just go to those locations, quit and reload, save and reload, and you'll find all the bears you need.
Watching you every moment.
I ain't gonna shop you now. Come on.
And I'm amazed I can do that off the top of my head.
You'll die, boy.
What's that about?
Lose your balls first. Jesus Christ. Just over the ridge.
Cloudy says, I'm pretty sure she got the role because her father works for HBO. I did not know that. I'm pretty sure I agree with you, Cloudy.
Okay.
That's my little girl. She's going to be a dad.
Clearing down there. There'll be a bunch
And,
of
you know,
fellas
HBO's
sitting
always
up there,
been,
too.
like,
Are these
a little
fellas
too
armed?
sexy for my tastes. But,
Wary of strangers, yep.
you know,
Driscoll?
He'll be
I
holed
think
up in his cabin.
in the apocalypse,
Passed out, boobs blind,
one
likely as not.
women of childbearing age will be bearing children. You know, they're not going to be, they might be in leadership roles, but they're going to be behind the walls, taking care of the second generation of the human race that is the future of the human race that is probably immune to the virus. So you need to make as many immune babies as you can, which means you don't risk women of childbearing age out in the field. Also, I don't think you get the luxury of
What are we doing about the pisser?
of same-sex they/them pronouns during the apocalypse. I don't think,
Okay, go to work.
you know, because
Don't you dare.
you have to rebuild the human race. But I don't know. Papa One says, really, Cloudy? And Cloudy says, yeah, Papa One. Cloudy says, thanks for the tip. That's what I'm here for, Cloudy. And Peter Walsdorf says, hey, everyone. And Cloudy says, howdy, Peter. Papa One says, I'll never be as over the new generation as I was when I heard that I'm going to be a dad line.
When I move, you move. Take him out at a distance.
Yeah, I was watching a movie with Anya Taylor-Joy, and I love her. It's called The Menu. And you know, she's just, you know, it took me a while to like get used to her eyes, but but now that, you know, I'm used to her, you know, I mean, she has an elven beauty, but she would have been a great Ellie 10 years ago. She's like 29 now, which means she's probably 35. But yeah, but I thought, you know, like they could have like done like a digital makeup on her, like youngified her, like they did Patrick Stewart in X-Men, you know, for season 1, and then in season 2, she could play a grown-up Ellie. I have no problem seeing same-sex lesbian scenes with Anya Taylor-Joy. Woof. But yeah, just the way it is. And I used to love HBO. Westworld season 1. Also, you gotta recce the camp here because there's women there, and Arthur doesn't like shooting those women, those O'Driscoll gals. But yeah, Dexter, True Blood, 6 Feet Under. HBO used to make quality TV. And I still, you know, recommend the first, let's say, season and a half. Season 1 and half of season 2 of Westworld. If you have, you know, it's like Papa One, watch season 1 of Westworld. You'll love it. They did a great job remaking, you know, and usually I hate remakes, but they did a really good job of remaking that movie. Also, there's an AMC show called Hell on Wheels about the Union Pacific Railroad, the building of it, and that's fantastic. Peter Walsdorf says, how's it going, everyone? Greetings, Peter. It's going quite well, thank you for asking. I was playing Arkham Knight all week long, getting better at it. Mama one says Cole must have had one hell of a recruiting manager, considering how many men he goes through. He gets them off the boat, Mama one, in New York, straight off the boat from Ireland. Cloudy says, I watched Peanut Butter Falcon, Nacho Libre, and Foxcatcher, so it was a wrestling week, LOL. And Papa One loved Hell on Wheels. Yeah, and that one, you know, it's like, I think it covered diversity and inclusion quite well. You know, with the, you know, the Black Railroad crew and the Chinese Railroad crew and the romance with Fong. I thought that was I thought it was organic and worked. So I did still like, I forget what her name was. I want to say Lily Miller, but it wasn't Lily Miller. From the first season, I liked her a lot, even though I understood that Swede had to be a nemesis for Cullen to chase down. But yeah, you know, it's like I had nothing bad to say about Hell on Wheels. I thought it was an excellent balance. Common wanted his character written out because he got that role in John Wick and thought he was gonna be a movie star.
All right, then go on. Get out of here. Hey? I won't
They
kill
do that
you.
all the time.
Get lost.
They don't understand that Bruce Willis was the exception.
Go on, get out of here.
That's as good as killing me. Out there. Without you.
But, you know, I'd do it
About this.
if it was offered to me. You know, I can't, like, you can't fault it. You can't fault someone's ego. It's hard to be humble.
Give me a break. All right, then.
Plus, you're surrounding yourself. Your agent, your publicist, and all your best friends that you hire to hang out with you are telling you that you're great, you're handsome, you're the, you know, you're the most talented person on that show. Everyone's just watching it for you. So, you know, and you're going to listen to them. You're not going to understand that, you know, you're part of an ensemble cast that helps to, and everyone contributes equally. And just because you get to play an assassin in a John Wick movie, yeah, nobody will tell you that. There's some money on the floor. Don't forget. Every dollar counts this early in the game. Every dollar counts in life. Mama One asks, does anyone use the double-barreled shotgun? No, who wants to keep reloading that darn thing? It's slightly more accurate than the shorty, but yeah, it's just, let's put it in the weapons locker. Callum, me boy. Callum says, hey, sorry I'm late. No worries, Callum. We got Boadiea. Those are bear traps on the wall for Cloudy. Mama One says, hey, Callum, glad you are here, dear. And that floor is chewed up. Yeah, we got a bronze because Arthur's hat got shot off and we had to go back for it. I wanted it for the cutscene. See, there is the liver chestnut Hungarian half-bred, a.k.a. Boadiea. Callum uses it, and Callum says, I do, Mama One. I prefer it over the other two shotguns, to be honest. And Cloudy loves using the semi-auto. Yes, I did. I used to love the semi-auto. That thing can decapitate. And that's kind of fun. I used to enjoy doing that. Am I allowed to say that? But yeah, early in the game, or early in the channel, I really valued one-shot Ks. Callum says, good to see you, Antonio, Mama 1, Papa 1, Cloudy, Peter, Miko, heart, heart, heart. And Papa 1 says, Callum, good to see you, son. Sadie's under the desk, Callum. She is right here. We have no ammo. I don't know if you noticed. So we've got to stock up. We're going to go get Bolty. But first, we have to get the Reverend back home. We do have Lanky. Good old Lanky.
It doesn't hurt to stock up on ammo. You never know.
Callum says, I use the short double-barrel shotgun as one of my sidearms in Red Dead
Ain't no
Online.
trace of rust on that as
And
far
Callum
as I can
says,
see.
super illegal in America, Callum. Callum says, good to see you, Papa 1. I hope you and Mama 1 had a good week. And Callum says, Sadie's a sleepy girl.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, last night she was so tired. I was like, I wasn't up late playing Batman Arkham Knight, but I was up later than usual. Like about 9 o'clock. And she was just on the couch. And she was so tired, she wanted me to carry her to bed. How did I know? Because I said, come on, Sadie, it's time for bed. And she just turned over on her back on the couch and held her arms out like a baby. So I had to pick her up and carry her to the bed, which I was happy to do. A 50-pound baby. And then we just kind of watched American Horror Story in bed for like 3 hours. Well, she slept, and I just kind of scrolled through the phone and watched American Horror Story. Mom once says, I use dual Schofields mainly, occasionally Mauser pistols or sawn-off shotguns as my sidearms. And Papa once says, we did, Callum. We found 2 of our thoroughbreds are expecting, and we are happy about that. And Callum says, that's probably my new favorite suit that I've seen you in, Antonio. Oh, thank you, Callum. I appreciate you saying so. Note the matching pocket square. This is Calvin Klein in a very light summer weight wool. And the black shirt is by H&M. I don't know if you have H&M in Ireland. Probably. I believe H&M is a Swedish company. I like H&M for like cheap fashion. They even have good. I look pretty good in their suits. But I think H&M to me is like European Gap. It's just like a slightly higher than Gap. I don't know if you have the Gap in the UK. Hop, hop. Hop, hop. Say hi to Callum. Hop, hop. There you go. Say hi to Callum and Miko and Cloudy and Peter. Tell everyone to like and subscribe. And say hi to Mama 1 and Papa 1. You didn't see him. Callum says, yes, we have H&M. It's about an hour away from me, pretty sure. Yeah, Callum, if you need a suit, a cheap suit that won't really last, but, get you through a job interview or a first date, or a wedding or a funeral, highly recommend H&M. Mom wants to say Sadie needs her sleep. Our dog Rick will not go to sleep without me turning in for the night. If I stay up late, he will walk up and stare at me like, go to bed already. Yeah, dogs like their routine. Cloudy says, I'm doing a Bat Honor playthrough. I canceled Jean-Marc. I feel so bad. Yeah, but you get to fish out his arm now. And Callum says, hey, Sadie. See? Callum said hi. And Pop One says, yes, Callum, but these will have a great pedigree and be sold to the racing circuit, most likely, or possibly horse shows. Callum says, I'd love to see you in a cream-colored suit.
You want a game?
That's possible. I do like,
I'll play a few hands.
I have a white linen jacket. We could do it. I haven't really brought it out. I don't like the lapels. The lapels are a little wider than I want personally.
I'm Luther. This is Marvin.
Callum says some good money in your pockets for sure, Papa One. And Papa One says that always makes me happy, Callum. We need you happy, Papa One.
So, how you two know each other anyway? Don't seem like a lot.
You get queens and tens, ladies and tens. You're always going to win.
Go a long way back.
I have never tried to get all five, win 5 hands in a row here, do the Gambler Challenge 1, even though it unlocks. I'm just eager to get the Reverend and move on with the game. But I would assume that it would be easy to get 5 hands in a row here. Or 5 hands.
Did a little in recent years.
Mama One says Super Antonio needs to bring back the old school pinstripe suits. Mama One, it's
It's all I can afford.
Can you imagine him at the pulpit? If he could stand up.
you know, Callum's countryman, Conor McGregor, who's very famous for having like a bespoke, custom-tailored pinstripe suit, okay? And the stripes
He's a decent
in a,
fella
you know,
going through a bad
were like,
time.
had tiny lettering that you had to zoom in on. But it said F-U, 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 F-U. But it was like very conservative, very, you know, obviously tailored, custom-tailored blue pinstripe suit. But it had that cheeky little Irish humor inside it. Do you know that suit, Callum? Have you heard of that? Callum says, I would also like to see that, Mama One, and maybe a fancy hat also. Well, I can do that for you. Hold on. Let's see if I can reach for it.
Too rich for me.
Sit down.
Oh, I'm done, friend. It's been a real education.
No.
Come on, Rip.
We'll confuse the dog because she thinks we will be going out for a walk.
Reverend, where?
How's that?
Excuse me, gentlemen.
We're not going out. I'm just showing the chat.
Reverend,
This is a Panama hat.
where'd you go?
It's called the Monte Cristo, which I believe is the name of a
Excuse me, I'm sorry. You see a
what's the name of a
drunken
cigar.
idiot wandering about?
However, this is the same hat, the same model that Hannibal Lecter wore in the first Silence of the Lambs when he escapes to South America, and it says, "I'm having an old friend for dinner," and I like it. I like how it looks from the side. I don't necessarily like how it looks from the front, but yeah, it's a really nice summer hat, and they have them in black. I want to get it in black.
Get your hands off him.
Mama One says, that hat looks good on you, Super Antonio. Thank you, Mama One. I appreciate you saying so. I enjoy it. I never really thought of myself as a hat guy, but it really really finishes the look. Yeah, Arthur can't fight anymore because he has Batman skills now, which don't translate over into 1899. He's trying to do Batman combos on him. Callum says, look straight out of LA Noire now. Yeah, I want to get the black one, definitely. And then there's a straw hat. It's English. It's called a boater, which has a more circular crown and a shorter brim. And I'd like to get one of those as well. Callum says the black one will definitely look good for sure. And Nico says, Super Antonio Big Tony from the Mafia. Yeah, I like a hat really finishes the outfit for me, the suit. And it, you know, it's like, and it puts you in like the 1% of the men that are wearing suits out there. I would say like perhaps
I won't tell a soul. I promise.
90% of the men I encounter are not in a suit. So like we got 10% in a suit, and those are guys in the service industry or business. And then you put the hat on and it puts you in the 1%. And I like being in the 1%. Regrettably, we are not in the 1% financially or YouTube-wise, but we can be wardrobe-wise, and I don't know, that counts for something. Papa One says, I love how Arthur yells out for Reverend Swanson, yelling, where did you go? Like the Reverend is a dog that slips off his leash constantly. That is exactly what he is. There's a scene here, it's soft. I love, you can see the emotion play over Arthur's face when the Reverend says, I wish I was different, and Arthur just softens immediately, and he's like, let's get you home. He forgives him everything. It's a wonderful scene. Callum says the larger brim hats suit you very well. Thank you, Callum. And Papa One says we have all had friends like that at least at one point in life. And Callum says I am one of those friends, Papa One.
What the hell is wrong?
Here comes the scene's coming, and Callum says once I've had too many drinks on my own side missions. Sometimes a friend joins me too.
Have I been bad again, Mr. Morgan? I'm sorry.
See, he apologizes, and he says, I wish I was different.
I wish I was different.
And you can see, like, Arthur just soften immediately.
Let's get you home.
Home.
Let's get you home.
That's a wonderful idea. I could have tea with Margaret.
Margaret? Who's Margaret? What?
Papa One says, a lot of things Arthur does reminds me of being in the ranching business. I had a crew member named Luke, who we would refer to as Leaky Luke, as he would get drunk and just wander off. And even the Reverend looks good behind Boadiea. And Boadiea is strong enough to carry him. Callum says, Reverend reminds me of the drunk that says, I love you every few minutes. Yeah, he's, it's, I believe the word is maudlin. That's a good word. Just a maudlin drunk. I'm a happy, silly drunk. You know, I'll sing and make really bad jokes. And it just, everything becomes very funny and amusing to me. She has never seen me drunk, and I don't think she ever will.
Don't mind if I do.
It's not really something I do anymore. Papa says we were in the woods or at a horse show. Usually find him in the most unusual of places. Found him passed out in a porta potty one time. Apparently he needed to pee and slipped and passed out. Well, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
I was wondering when he'd show up.
Needless to say, he wet himself. Papa once said, yeah, you don't tend to care at some point.
You better sleep your way to salvation, my friend.
What happened?
Just...
And Miss Grimshaw,
Bastard.
the camp mom, comes over
Well,
to
thank
take
you,
care
Mr.
of him.
Morgan. I'll keep an eye on him.
And thanks,
He was
Arthur,
lucky this time.
for bringing him back.
Real lucky.
Cam says, I love wandering off after a few too many drinks apart from the time I slid down a flight of stairs on my backside. Yeah, you want to get into adventures, Callum. You're looking for side missions. You're looking for girls that need assistance. Moving on to Sean's mission. And you will be happy to know, because this is a completely updated Red Dead Redemption 2 version, that Bolty is still available. You have to shoot the guy, the person, the Pinkerton on the Pinkerton on the left is the one holding Bolty. And if you do not cancel him immediately, when he will drop a carbine repeater. So you have to get him first, and you can sleep in here, which Arthur's going to do. Don't even bother with his friend. Just get rid of him, and then deal with everyone else as you run up there and get Bolty. Callum says, Arthur going to save my favorite character? Yes, Callum, we... You are the the Sean McGuire of the chat. Mama one says, I was furious with Luke for 2 days. He rode home in our truck covered in waste. That smell takes years to get out of your truck. I'm sorry to hear that, Mama one. And I would be furious as well. It's a great introduction to Callum, or to Sean. Forgive me, Callum. You know, he's upside down. And he just starts immediately teasing Arthur. and mentioning Arthur's age.
Why haven't they hanged Sean, I wonder?
I think he's bait.
And you can just tell that, you know, he's one of the most beloved members of the camp. He's quite popular. He's quite popular with the ladies as well. Papa one says, Callum, I used to get crazy when I would drink. My dad's, but we tended to just get into fistfights or some other trouble. Callum says, that made me laugh, Antonio. Okay, well, my work here is done then. I like making the chat laugh.
We need to stop them before they get to camp. Charles, why don't you head up on the north side, and then we'll head up on the other
See,
side.
Arthur's taking charge again. Okay, even
Javier, Josiah,
with assigning roles, telling Charles to get on the other side of the river.
The government, or people
even though Josiah is the one. Look how much bigger Boadiea is than Guinevere or Boadiea, and that's not Taima. That's Boaz. Then Boadiea and Boaz. We know where to go, but we're taking our time so we can get the whole Heidi McCourt conversation.
Follow me. Let's see if we can track down this boat.
Keep your eyes open for Pinkertons. They got patrols out all over this area.
Someone walked by our door. She's better than a ring light. It's okay.
It's definitely as bad as we feared in there, Arthur.
She'll let us know immediately if we have an Amazon package. Callum says, I'm a funny drunk, but very talkative, especially with the ladies. Never really any violence apart from the odd time when I'm out.
No money yet, it seems. I hope you know where that is, at least.
Well, that's in your character, Callum. You know, the Irish character. Silver-tongued. Some of the best writers in the world are Irish. One of my favorite writers, Oscar Wilde. It's one of your countrymen.
Keep your guns away until we know it's Sean, okay? I know what you two are like.
You think they can see us?
If they can, we're just three fellas out on the trail. Act natural. We'll be fine.
So, you've been gone for a while.
Much as I love dodging the law and sleeping in the dirt with you derelicts, I do have other business to attend to.
Josiah, as you know, has a whole different life outside of the camp. He has a family in Saint Denis.
Especially with you.
Nice to know I'm missed, though. Come on.
You can visit his home if you want.
You all right, Javier? You're quiet.
That would make a nice short. We might as well do that. As long as we're here, let me make a note of it.
Very cute.
Josiah. Fam. Saint Denis.
Apparently, there's a camp somewhere around here where the bounty hunters meet and transfer.
Count says, what character in the gang did everyone dislike the most and why, not counting Micah or Cleet? I loved all the characters. I can't think, you know, they all fit perfectly in the gang, you know, from Herr Strauss to Mary Beth. You know, I'm fond of all of them. You know, they become a family to you. Papa one says, my friend Henry was the ladies' man of the crew, Callum, former Amish guy whose motto was, praise God for whiskey, women, and horses. He went from being terrified of being in bars to owning one eventually. That is quite a journey. That's quite a path.
Who are these bounty hunters?
Whiskey, women, and horses. I can't think of.
But I hear they're a big crew. Wild.
Can't fault
Built some reputation in the
his
last
logic.
year or two.
That looks like Sean to me.
Certainly kicking up enough of a fuss. Yep, that's definitely Sean.
Oh, they're giving him a decent kicking.
Well, you can only imagine the shit he's been giving them.
Yeah. So drop that guy on the left with an explosive round, and then just move up. There's Charles.
There's Charles on the other side.
How'd he get over there so fast?
What about the other two down there?
I've got an idea. Follow me.
And also, you get a free machete from the Pinkerton who was fighting Charles. And what's a Pinkerton doing with a machete? You would think that they would just have standard equipment, a service revolver, and a long gun. I don't think you need a machete. It's more of a Murphy Brood type melee weapon. And if if they're going to have a melee weapon, you'd think they'd have like blackjacks or maybe a nightstick. Yeah, see, the game will give you the bow. I think the game wants you to stealth up there by taking those two guys out with the bow.
We should do this.
Never do that. Pop One says the Amish community he was from didn't allow drinking and a lot of things. So when he left at 17, what's that called? Rum Springer? He didn't know much about the outside world, but he ended up loving it. And Callum says, I wasn't the biggest fan of Strauss due to the fact that he would get members in the gang to pay a visit to the people who owed him debt, and especially ones like that lady in Chapter 6. Herr Strauss is the future, Callum. I mean, if you want to be a bad guy, that's where the money is. They really should have listened to Herr Strauss and gone into the money lending business. One of my favorite quotes from The Godfather is The Godfather says, "You can steal one man with a briefcase can steal more than 100 men with guns." And that's it's like if Dutch was really serious about becoming as powerful as Leviticus Cornwall, they really should have started paying more attention to Herr Strauss's side of the business. If I would have done it, I would have taken over Hanging Dog Ranch, and then taken over Strawberry, converted the hotel into a dance hall bath lady type situation, brought in a couple gambling tables, kind of like Deadwood. Started lending money, open up a bank, go legit. And there's Bolty. Deadwood is a great blueprint of how to make money in the Old West. Also, Deadwood, also HBO, Papa One. See, HBO used to know what they were doing. Highly recommend Deadwood. Pop One says, in all fairness to Strauss, he would have been a horrible loan shark if he would have shown up at a debtor's door. The debtor would see Strauss and laugh. It is different when Arthur comes around. Yeah, but Papa One, Strauss reels him in. That was his job, was identifying marks and opportunities. But he needs, you need Bill and Micah and to a smaller extent Javier and Lenny, but absolutely Arthur for enforcement. Mom One says, I love Bolty. Mom One, Bolty loves you. Also, Ellie's weapon of choice is a bolt action. I appreciate that. Cal says, I would go to that hotel if you turned it into what you were saying, Antonio. Yes, I know you would, Callum. Bless your soul. But yeah, I'd probably recruit you. You'd probably be working there, so it would stop being a place of fun for you, and it would be more of a, you know, it'd be a job. Make you a bartender or a dealer. Free machete. Mom once says, I'm just putting this out there, but of all the gang members, Micah looks like he never bathes. And Callum says, I would laugh at Bill and Micah, but not the likes of Arthur and Charles if he ever helped out with Strauss with that type of thing. I don't think Charles ever would.
Charles, you take the right. I'll go
And
take him down.
everyone, like, you know, I think Charles pretty much decided that he would only take orders from Dutch and Arthur. Don't forget that guy in the water tower. Get him as soon as possible, because he is an expert shot. Callum says, wouldn't mind being a bartender or even a security guard if it was needed. I could tell you some stories. I worked the front door at a club in my martial arts connections. I'm not big. I'm small. You know, it's like, honestly, I'm 5'10", 150 pounds. You know, just I'm wiry. I have a little bit of skill. You know, I can take care of myself. But you know, there were a lot of security guys in martial arts, and one of them was one of my best friends. Asked me if I wanted a side gig, working the door, checking IDs. I would never have to worry about you know, getting into physical confrontation, but you know, it's like I was more advanced than he was in kung fu, and he, you know, and he would like, but he had a crew of people, just like Roadhouse, and you know, he would, you know, it's like it was pretty good money. Okay, and so yeah, so I did that for a summer. It was fun. You met a lot of cute girls. But it turned out that the owner was a special medicine dealer, and your real job there as security was to keep out rival special medicine salesmen. And it turned into a really scary situation for me personally. There were, you know, like, you know, you were paid in cash at the end of the night. So you go into his office, and he'd just be there like Scarface with a mountain of special medicine in front of him, just zoned out of his mind. 38 on the desk. Papa 1. I knew what type of gun it was. Sorry, algorithm. I didn't mean gun. Yeah, I'm telling you this story now. And so, yeah, you'd ask him to pay you for the night. And some days he would just peel off a 20. And some days he would give you like $800, I think is the most he gave me at once. He would just like hand you a fistful of hundreds, and you never knew what you were going to get. You know, it's like, so I didn't do that for long. I only lasted like maybe a month. Because it was just, yeah, it just wasn't worth it for me. But yeah, it was interesting. At any rate, that's about all I have for you tonight, friends. I appreciate you being here. We shall return tomorrow night with The Last of Us live in Red Dead Redemption 2. Shout out to the mods, Callum and Mama 1 and Papa 1 and Miko Herptile. Appreciate you being here. I'll leave the chat open for a bit if you guys want to talk amongst yourselves. Thanks for watching, friends. Like and subscribe. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Good night, friends.
ain't scaring nobody. No! Go to hell! At least hit me proper. Next time, avoid me.
Had enough of this goddamn crap.
You okay, boy? Yeah.
I'm beside myself. If I lose Bessie, I lose everything.
Oh, calm down, mister.
I can't.
God damn it, Arthur! Okay, let's get after him. Come on. We got two halfway up the canyon to deal with.
A pleasure as always, gentlemen.
Let's go! Come on! We need to get past these sons of bitches!
What are you doing? Still breathing.
That's how you want to do it? Kill him!
Move up! Get your knife ready. Keep your head down.
Wait.
Okay, let's move down. Don't cross until he's got their attention. Hold up, he's doing his thing.
Gentlemen, excuse me. Dear brothers, my wife is taken ill. Gravely ill.
What's the problem?
It's dear Bessie. She's Bessie, I lose everything.
Calm down, mister.
I can't. I'm having a fit.
Come on, let's get up there.
A pleasure.
Qué lindo those boots you got there, eh? Those are very nice.
Stay the hell back!
Shit! Look out! We got business.
Come on! We need to get past these son of bitches! You gonna help me out here? Get your knife ready. Keep your head down. Stay here. Let's get in the river. Wait until he's got them off guard before crossing. Hold up, he's doing his thing.
Gentlemen, excuse me. Dear brothers, my wife is taken ill. Gravely ill.
What's the problem?
It's dear Bessie. She's taken a turn.
Where is she?
Okay, come on. Stay low.
I'm beside myself. If I lose Bessie, I lose everything.
Calm down, mister.
I can't. I'm having a fit.